Hey folks, I know several people have been following my issue with Leilani and her fuel pump and YAW Sensor issue. I'm proud to report after an hour and a half drive home, the issue has been fixed. Excuse my neighbor's lawnmower, he'll be done here in a minute. But so the fuel pump, so the issues that I was having, I took it in for several occasions to try to get the fuel pump fixed. Kind of thought it might be the O2 sensor, but still kept coming back to the idea that it was the fuel pump, because there have been others that have had problems. Because Mountain Motorsports in Greenville, Tennessee stated that they cannot fix it without duplicating the issue, and they couldn't seem to do that they wouldn't fix it. It died on me numerous times in the middle of the highway, usually on a Saturday, because who can drive during the week? If you're a working person, nobody's got time for that typically. So with the issue, just to give you all an idea for those who don't know and found this video doing a search. So what would happen is, when filled at full, once it goes about a gallon down below, the fuel pump would get hot and the bike would lurch. So you'd be steady on the throttle, or I would, and the bike would be just jutting back and forth like the fuel pump was cutting on and cutting off, cutting on and cutting off. I thought it was an O2 sensor. We eliminated that. That was not the case. We cleaned it up and stuff. That didn't make a difference. It still did it once it was hot. Now, if it was sitting cold and I took off with it, it'd take about an hour if the bike was full, and I usually keep it full. If it's not and it's been sitting in the sun and the gas is down, of course it'd do it automatically. Couldn't quite figure it out, but we thought it was the pump. So they did replace the fuel pump. That was problem one, and I'll tell you the other one in a minute. So this is the damages for everything. So parts were $430.98, labor $246.50, tax $66.08. They said deductible, and then total authorized $743.54. It was under warranty. I had a torque warranty through Mountain Motorsports, so it paid for it. They tried to charge me for it. Said they couldn't find my... That was a mess too. Said they couldn't find my warranty. Like to have drove me nuts. Finally fought tooth and nail and won my case that yes, I had a warranty. I just bought August the 8th. Bear in mind, this bike went in on August the 24th. So what the heck's the problem? Don't know. They said they couldn't see it. But anyway, I digress. So here's what they replaced: the seal, the pump module, and then the steering issue I'll talk about in a minute. And then there's the module fuel pump. It says 21 to 26. I don't know what that means. But I was told that this is for, and there's the part number if you want to look that up. But I was told it is a, can't remember if it was a Ski-Doo, which is a snowmobile, or it was a Sea-Doo fuel pump assembly, but they're both the same. They are the same part or same bike or engine assembly as what we have on our Rykers. So what they had to do is, just so you'll know, so you can tell your shop, they had to take the assembly apart, pull out the pump part, and replace it into the Ryker. If you don't know, this is the gas tank, and it's down inside the tank. So they got that replaced. They were nice enough to spill gas all over the bike. I have kind of put some cleaner on it. This is my cleaner of choice. Get it at Cycle Gear. Love this stuff. It's not super greasy, doesn't build up dirt when you're driving down the highway. It just eventually evaporates or wears off from friction from the wind or whatever, but keeps me from having to wet the bike all the time. So it's a great detailer. I really like this stuff. I also clean my shield with it. It's great as well. Just been a good product, and it's only $7.99. And that was in Atlanta, Georgia, where I bought it this time, because I was in Atlanta at the time. But, okay, so the second issue that I had The fuel pump, by the way, it seems to be doing well. I'm down to like 70 something miles till empty. I do the autonomy is what I watch for. And I was told, just so you know, if you do end up having to get this swapped out for this part, that the fuel gauge, when it says 0 now, it will be at zero gas, nothing there, nada. So they said do not run it to empty or you will be stranded. So with these, it'll go to 0 and you have like 10 miles left, I think it is. Not with this pump. The bobber is different, so if you get that swapped out, bear that in mind. Okay, so the other one is, the other thing that I had done, forgive the lint, my towels are falling apart, but the other thing is the yaw sensor. So, like in many others with the 2019 Can Am Ryker, I was having a firing issue of my yaw sensor when taking left-hand turns, or curves, let's say it that way. Didn't have to take a turn. I could do 30 miles an hour and this thing would start firing off, the brake would start, and the rear tire would literally just skip across the road. Once it would stop firing and the brake would stop applying, then the handlebars would kind of jerk because the rear end would bite and it kind of swivel you around. Now, I've been fighting Can Am and Mountain Motorsports on this the whole time. Bear in mind, I bought this bike used, 332 miles, I think 324 miles was on it. So it was practically new. I bought it in 2020. And so it really didn't have a lot of miles. The lady just got bored with it, decided she didn't want to ride it. So I did buy it third party, but I had a warranty on it, and I bought extended warranties on it. So when this started, I kept telling them it was going on. They would take it, as with the fuel pump, they would say, and this was happening long before the fuel pump issue, we can't duplicate it, we don't see a problem. What I found out was they were driving it in eco mode. It typically does it when I'm in sport mode, so bear that in mind, sport or rally mode. I typically don't ride in rally mode that much, unless I'm going in dirt and gravel. Otherwise, it's just sport mode. That was when it was firing off. So it was quite the pain in the butt. So there had been a bulletin put out about the pitman arm, and they kept saying, oh, well, we can't get it to duplicate, so we're not going to fix it. I also knew online that some folks had the yaw sensor recalibrated to center, because apparently coming out of the factory, some of these guys were coming out with it off center, so it was causing it to fire. Eventually, I ended up having them to do both. They fixed both. So the pitman arm assembly they replaced, and they also recalibrated the yaw sensor. And I drove the living heck out of this thing on the way home. I hit some curvy roads and fired it up. Used to 30 miles or more an hour, it would fire off and I would have issues. I was doing 65 and 70 in some of these curves, no problem. And these were tight curves. I live in the country in northeast Tennessee, and I was coming back from Kodak, Tennessee, which is near Knoxville, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, that area. And yeah, I didn't have any problem. So I'm hoping both parts are fixed. We shall see. Unfortunately now, as you can see, it is fall here. Trees are kind of scarce. It's getting colder. It was in the 50s today, like I said, so. But we'll see if this fixes it. I sure the heck hope it is. I'm not exactly happy with a few things. So when they were taking this thing apart, this was my problem. As you know, if you own a Can Am Ryker Rally, or Ryker period, this plastic is not friendly or forgiving when gas hits it. It turns it white, and it's super hard to get this off. This has been here all summer. I can't get this off. Well, this was covered with fuel marks all the way down the sides. It was worse on this side than that side. This is post cleaner, but you can see it's starting to turn white again. You just can't get rid of it. It's super frustrating. It's starting to, yeah, it's frustrating. I don't know why. There is no fix. We've all tried everything. Beth from Ryker Rides tried several different methods, and nothing really worked very well for it. So just don't spill gas on it if you can help it. Have a towel or something up underneath the your fuel pump whenever you're pulling it out, so you don't have to worry about that mess. But I've talked enough. Want to just let you know what's going on. Oh, one more thing. So this bike, Leilani, has had 2 oil changes this year, which is stupid ridiculous. So at 6,500 miles, I did my first oil change with all the maintenance. Went ahead and paid for that, and then this time I just had the oil change. One more thing. So this bike, Leilani, has had 2 oil changes this year, which is stupid ridiculous. So at 6,500 miles, I did my first oil change with all the maintenance. Went ahead and paid for that, and then this time I just had the oil changed. 6,500 miles on this thing the first time in April. She now has she's 4 miles away from rolling over 12,000 miles. I'll probably break that in later on this afternoon. But so when your instrument gauge goes to 11,950, you'll start to see transmission maintenance required scroll across your screen, and you'll start to have the exclamation point. That means it's time to change your transmission belt. That is due in 12,000 miles. We're going to do that in the plugs ourselves. It's just too freaking expensive for them to do it, so we're going to do it for us, or for ourselves. He looks rough, but he's got one too over there. That's his bike, so we're going to save ourselves some money. Beth from Ryker Rides has a great video that you can follow there, so definitely do try to do some of your maintenance for yourself if you want. If you're on a budget, why not? Get your hands on your bike and learn your bike. There's nothing wrong with that. But thanks, guys. Hopefully this old girl's ready to go, and we'll be able to finish out the fall with no problems. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. I'll be more than glad to help you any way I can. Whatever you do, just be careful in your Ryker. Just enjoy your ride. I know I sure do. I sure am glad it's back. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.